Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of College Hockey Talk. On today's podcast, I'm joined by a very special guest. She is an incoming junior of the St. Thomas women's hockey team. Emma Larson joins the show today. Emma, welcome to the podcast, and how's everything going?
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Everything's been great. It's been a great off season. So yeah, I'm excited to get the season going.
Well, I'm excited to have you on and just talk about your off season. How's everything going, and have you done anything interesting, whether it's hockey or non-hockey related?
Yeah, it's been a great off season. I've been doing a lot of on and off ice training. I actually got to play in a tournament this past weekend, so it was kind of fun to be able to compete again against some very skilled players. So yeah, it's been awesome.
Well, talk about the tournament for a little bit. What was that like for yourself? And just talk about the experience, because it's kind of cool hearing some about the summer hockey leagues that go on in Minnesota, especially.
Yeah, it was put on by the Minnesota Whitecaps and OS Hockey, who I trained with in the summer. And it's some of the best players around Minnesota in college hockey that train there. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was pretty competitive with some really good players. I got to play with some future transfers that are coming in. So that was exciting to get to meet them. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Now, overall, how's training going, and what are you working on regarding your game for next season?
Yeah, training's been going great. I think just focusing on getting stronger every day. I think a lot of your confidence going into the season is knowing the hard work you put in the off season. So yeah, just trying to focus on little areas like your shot, hands, and things like that to make myself better every day.
Yeah, and going off that answer, what is one area of your game that you're trying to improve on the most heading into next season?
Yeah, I think definitely looking to shoot the puck more on the blue line and just working on the little things like footwork and things like that. That's really gonna help improve my game.
Now, looking at your team for this upcoming season, you have a lot of new players coming in, and being an upperclassman, what type of leadership do you hope to bring to the team? Are you trying to be more of a vocal or lead by example type of player?
Yeah, I think just a little bit of both. Just trying to push my teammates on the ice to get better, but then, off the ice being there for them when they need me. So, yeah, just a little mixture of both, hopefully.
Now, have you gotten the chance to meet any of the freshmen that are coming into the team next year, and what can fans expect from those freshmen?
Yeah, I actually have gotten to skate with a few of them. One's actually a former teammate of mine, Lauren Stensley. So I'm excited to play with her again. But yeah, these freshmen, they seem really good and very skilled, fast. And yeah, I think they're going to be very good assets for the team. So I'm super excited, and they're all super nice girls.
Now, have you faced any challenges compared to last year preparing for the upcoming season with the pandemic still going on, or has things started to open back up and been kind of a more of a normal off season compared to last year?
Yeah, it definitely has been a lot easier this summer training. Gyms and rinks are being a little looser with their restrictions. So, yeah, it's been a lot easier to train. So, I'm very thankful for that, for sure.
Now let's transition from the off season. Just talk a little bit about the beginning of your hockey career and work all the way up to where you are now with St. Thomas. So you're from Maple Grove, Minnesota. Just talk about growing up there and how did you start playing hockey?
Yeah, so my dad played growing up in Minnesota as well. So, me and my sisters naturally were in skates at a very young age. So, I've loved the game ever since. We're a huge hockey family here. So,
Nice. And growing up in that hockey family, did you get to play in the outdoor rinks in your backyard or anything like that?
yeah, we have. I live pretty close to a park in Maple Grove, so me and my friends would always go out and skate there too. So that's the one thing I love about Minnesota is even if you don't play competitively, I think everyone loves to just get out and play the sport.
Any good memories, funny stories about you on the outdoor pond hockey rink with your friends?
I can't think of too many things. I think it's just fun to teach the younger neighbors how to skate and things like that. It's just community builder for sure.
Yeah, that's one thing that I've noticed about Minnesota hockey versus where I'm from is just the outdoor hockey rinks. I never had an outdoor hockey rink growing up. Everything was just inside. So I think it's really cool to have that kind of community-based hockey and getting to play outside a lot of times. And obviously for St. Thomas, you guys are going to be playing an outdoor game for this upcoming season. How excited are you for that? Kind of bringing those memories back, but playing in a competitive D1 hockey game.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited that we get to be part of Hockey Day Minnesota. Yeah, when I heard that news this past weekend, I was literally jumping in joy. It's going to be a great game, and that's always a great holiday for me. So, yeah, I'm super excited for that.
Now, I'm from Massachusetts, so just explain to me what Hockey Day in Minnesota is and what the whole celebration is like.
Yeah, well, I mean, Minnesota is known as the state of hockey, so I think it's just a time where, some of the best teams get to play on a platform, and I think it's cool they switch locations every year, and they always have high school level hockey, NHL level, and then college level. So it's just a time to celebrate the sport and the love of the game for the state.
Now, where's the facility going to be for your outdoor game this upcoming winter?
Yeah, it's located in Mankato, so I've actually never been down there, so I'm super excited for that game.
That's awesome. And have you ever had the chance to see a Hockey Day in Minnesota game? And where are some of the other locations? Where have been the other locations in the past for this type of event?
I actually never gotten to witness it, but yeah, I think it's been St. Cloud, Duluth, some big hockey cities like that. So yeah, Mankato will be a lot of fun. I have a couple friends on Mankato's team, so we were talking about it this past weekend. We're all super excited.
Now, getting back to the beginning of your hockey career, growing up, who was a player that you admired a lot, and who was your favorite player just growing up, and who did you try to model your game after when you were a kid?
Yeah, well, one mentor of mine, I actually played with her in high school. Her name's Tina Campa. She played at Bemidji State. She's a captain there, and she just always was a mentor to me. She's small, but she plays big and she's aggressive. And I'm not one of the taller D in college hockey, so she taught me how to play aggressive, play big, no matter your size. So I really love that. And then NHL wise, I've always loved Brett Burns. I think he plays that aggressive style too, and I mean, you gotta love his long beard. And
Hmm.
yeah, he's a great guy too.
Is that someone you try to model your game after in college? A guy like Brent Burns, just like a defenseman that's aggressive and makes offensive plays for his teammates.
Right. And I think he's very offensive, but he knows when to jump up in the play and when to play solid D. And so that is definitely something I look up to for sure.
Yeah, no, he's definitely the most interesting player in the NHL, in my opinion. Just reading up about some of his off-ice habits, it's pretty cool to see what he does in his free time.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy, that's for sure.
Now, did you ever get the chance to watch him play when he was with the Wild, or you never really got the chance to see him play there?
Yeah, that's actually kind of how I knew who he was. I would go to games when I was little with my dad. He just always impressed me and was always super fun to watch.
Now, before St. Thomas, you played for your high school at Maple Grove. Just talk about your experience there and what was it like?
Yeah, I loved my experience at Maple Grove. It was a lot of great memories. It's a very impressive program that produces a lot of good hockey players that I've gotten to play with, and we've had some very successful seasons. So I'm very thankful for that, for sure.
Yeah, and you were a captain of that Maple Grove team your senior year. What type of leadership did you want to bring, and were you more of a vocal or lead by example type of player? And how have you used that leadership that you had in high school heading into college hockey?
Yeah, kind of talking about that earlier. I just think, yeah, vocal and, on the ice, off the ice kind of leadership where I want to be someone who's working hard and pushing my teammates, but I'll always be there for them too if they need and, try to get the team pumped up before the game. That's for sure.
Now, thinking back to your time at Maple Grove, what was the best memory you've ever had there, whether it's on or off the ice?
Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of great memories coming out of Maple Grove. I think one that stands out was winning the section final. We always were put in a pretty tough section, so it wasn't a cakewalk going to the state tournament. So me making it my senior year was something really special to me. There's nothing like the state tournament in Minnesota.
Yeah, I want to ask you a little bit about that. Just describe the Minnesota hockey scene and what's it like being a player in that hockey atmosphere, because watching the clips of the state tournament, especially at the XL Center, seeing the sold out crowd and just how excited everyone is, it seems like a really cool environment to be in. And I feel like it's kind of hard to understand from an outsider's perspective how intense that environment is and how cool that environment is as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's when the whole school starts to recognize all the hard work your team has put on and they all come and watch. And I think that's what's really cool is everyone's focused on you. And being a high school player, you never really get to be put on such a big stage like that. So I think that's just what makes it exciting is the whole town's cheering you on. It's just really cool thing.
Is it cool kind of explain that hockey atmosphere and that Minnesota high school hockey scene to players that aren't from Minnesota, just how big it is? Because I feel like it's kind of hard to understand if you're not from Minnesota.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've had some teammates who don't live in Minnesota, and I like try to explain it to them. And I think it's kind of like their national tournament when they play club hockey. Around the country, it's like that's kind of our national tournament. It's our state tournament because it's just such a big thing in Minnesota.
Now, one thing I found interesting about the state tournament in Minnesota is the all hockey hair team. I think that's pretty sick. The one thing I did notice about the all hockey hair team is that there was never really any girls that have made that team. Why is that? And do you think there should be more girls added to the all hockey hair team? Because I think it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think girls probably just don't. I think a lot of guys like bleach their hair, and I just think a lot of girls probably don't want to do that. I know Carly Bennett, who plays for Holy Cross, she made it one year, and that was cool because I played with her growing up. So that was really awesome to see. I think like NHL tweeted her out. So yeah, I think a lot of girls should make it more. I think it would be a lot of fun little thing.
And if you were still playing high school, you should have like done the hair flip for the intros in that state tournament. I think that would have been cool, and I feel like that definitely would have set you apart from the other players that might have tried to make that team.
I know. I wish I did. If I could go back, I totally would have.
Do you think you would have made the team, or what player from your former teammate from your high school, do you think would have made the all hockey hair team if they did it?
Yeah, I mean, my hair's not really frizzy or got the flow going, but I think Tristana Tater, she's gonna be a incoming freshman for the Gophers. She definitely would have made it. We used to call her the Lion. She had like a long curly hair. She definitely would have. I wish she would have done a flip or something.
Yeah, definitely. Well, hopefully in the incoming future, more girls can make that all hockey hair team. I think that would be pretty cool to see. Now, how did Maple Grove ultimately help prepare you for college hockey with St. Thomas?
Yeah, I mean, my Maple Grove coach is really focused on work ethic on and off the ice. So, I just learned the importance of training and just focusing on those little details to really improve my game.
Now, talk about your recruitment process for a bit, and why did you choose to go to St. Thomas versus other schools you might have been looking at?
Yeah, well, I was actually looking to go out east because I just think it's super cool out there. Like you said, you're from Massachusetts, but I visited St. Thomas and I just fell in love with the campus. I just thought it was a really good fit for me school wise and just a good size. And yeah, I just have had a really great experience here.
Now, what was the biggest adjustment you had to make to college hockey? Was it the speed of the game going against faster players, or was it the physicality part of the game since you're going against a lot older players that might be stronger than you were when you were a freshman?
Yeah, I definitely think, speed and physicality was a big part of it. It makes the games a lot more, intense. And I think one thing that was a big adjustment was just the schedule. I mean, in high school, we were playing games throughout the week, where college, you play back to back Friday, Saturday. So I think an adjustment was trying to learn how to recover fast mentally and physically to get ready for that Saturday game was probably one of my bigger adjustments.
Now, what do you think was the biggest improvement you've made to your game in this past season with St. Thomas?
Yeah, I think I definitely have been working on being more aware on the ice and having a lot more confidence with the puck and just, focusing on solid defense.
Now, you only played 8 games last year, so what do you overall take away from this past season playing wise, and what did you learn about hockey just playing in a pandemic? Because it seemed like there was a lot of challenges that a lot of teams had to face just to play last year.
Yeah, it definitely was a challenge when you're waiting weeks to play a game and then it gets canceled the day before. But I really learned how to be optimistic and just be grateful that we were given a season because I know some people weren't. So that definitely helped me get through it.
Now, how have you balanced both academics and hockey at such a high level, especially last year with academics mostly being all online?
Yeah, I mean, as cheesy as it sounds, time management is key when you're playing a college sport, and just using all the resources that have been, you've been given. But yeah, online went a lot smoother than I thought, which is great. But I'm hoping to get back in person classes this semester.
I think everyone is hoping to get back in person, just because I think for myself personally, like doing online school, I felt like it was hard to motivate myself sometimes to get some work done just because when you're in your room, it's a little bit harder to do that versus when you're in a library or in another study hall. It's easier to get work done and you get more work done more quickly. That's something I realize. I don't know if that's something you realize as well.
No, exactly. I feel like I'll be more motivated in the classroom. So I'm excited to get back to somewhat normalcy this season.
Yeah, now how'd you deal with the Zoom breakout rooms? Because as a college student, I absolutely hated them. They were the most awkward experiences ever. I'm curious how you dealt with them. I don't know if you had to deal with them, but it was just brutal for myself, especially being a freshman and not knowing anyone going to my school.
Yeah, well, St. Thomas isn't like too big of a campus, so I knew a lot of people in my classes, which was nice. But yeah, it just was different, getting used to technology and making sure your Wi-Fi was good and things like that. But yeah, it wasn't horrible for me. So I enjoyed how smooth it went, but I'm excited to get some normalcy.
I think everyone is too, and hopefully things will be somewhat back to normal for this upcoming year, both school-wise and hockey-wise as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, speaking of last year with all the challenges that you faced, one of those challenges was all the schedule changes that happened to your schedule with games being postponed and canceled as well. How did you mentally deal with all those schedule changes, and what was the key for maintaining flexibility for this past season?
Yeah, like I said earlier, I think just staying positive and, just being grateful. My coach always said you never know when it could be your last game. So you just always had to get out there and just be happy you're able to compete and just being a good teammate. When we are getting put in quarantine, I think we did a lot of Zooms and FaceTimes just to keep that team bond, which really helped me for sure.
Now, another challenge that your team faced was not playing in front of any fans. How did you deal with that, not having that crowd noise, going out on the ice and playing those games? It must have been a weird type of atmosphere playing in front of that.
Yeah, it wasn't too big of a challenge, but luckily they did a live stream so people could still support, virtually. But I'm definitely excited to hopefully get some fans back in the stands for sure this season.
Yeah, and obviously not having your family come watch you play in person as well, it must be extremely difficult. How did you deal with that?
Yeah, well, luckily Maple Grove's not too far from St. Thomas, so they could still come. I could still go see them when it was okay, and yeah, it still was tough that they couldn't watch my games, but I'm just happy that everyone was safe. So that's the most important thing.
Definitely, definitely. Now, St. Thomas is obviously going D1 for this upcoming season and moving to a new conference, the WCHA conference. How excited are you to be part of a new D1 program, and what's the process going to be like trying to build your team's reputation for this upcoming season?
Yeah, I'm so excited to be a part of this conference. It is one of the most competitive conferences in the country. So, I mean, we're going to be faced with a lot of talented players, and we're going to be playing with some of at the highest level, I think, in the country. So, I'm super excited for this journey. It's going to be great to be a part of a school that's going from D3 to D1. Like, I'm just counting down the days till the season starts.
Now, what was your reaction when you found out that St. Thomas was going D1 for this upcoming season? Last offseason, obviously, was when the announcement happened. So I just want to get your reaction to that news and what was going through your head.
Yeah, I mean, there's always been some rumors that we were going to go D1 prior to the announcement, but I'm just really thankful that the WCHA took St. Thomas because, like I said, it's a great conference to be in. It's great hockey, and I'm just so excited for this opportunity for sure.
Now, what do you know about the WCHA conference playing wise? Just talk about watching some of those teams play, what you notice about each of the teams, and which team are you excited the most to play against? I know there's some former Minnesota hockey players that you might have played against that play in some of those schools.
Yeah, I just, like you said, like WCHA is a great conference. I train with some of the players that actually play in the WCHA, so they've given me some insight on what to expect for this coming season. But yeah, I think, just giving it your best every day is going to be key to play against these teams. And I'm super excited to play UMD. Manny McMahon is one of my really good friends from Maple Grove, so we've been talking about this game for a while. So, and they have a great program over there, so it should be fun to play there.
Will there be a jersey swap after the game, or you can't say yet?
I'm not sure yet about that one.
Now, talk about your new head coach as well, Joel Johnson, that's coming into the program this upcoming season. Have you gotten the chance to meet him, and what are your expectations playing under him for this upcoming year?
Yeah, I haven't met him in person yet, but we've had a couple Zoom calls. But I'm just very grateful for the opportunity that I'm going to play with him. Actually, I've had some of his former players come up to me and just tell me how great of a person and coach he is. And I think that really shows how respected he is in the women's college hockey world. I know he's going to make St. Thomas a really strong Division I program alongside with Marty, Bethany, and Allison. Like they're huge assets to the team and are going to make this program something special for sure.
Now, what are your goals and expectations for yourself and for your team next season, playing in the new conference and being a D1 program?
Yeah, I think just focusing on getting better every day and, giving it your best if it's a practice or a game and just making a smooth transition from D3 to D1 is something I hope my team and myself can achieve this season.
Yeah, just being a part of that new D1 program, what's it going to be like being a player, just being one of the new building blocks of that? And where do you hope to see the program 3 or 4 years after you graduate?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think we're going to be faced against some very impressive teams and that are going to be very skilled. But like I said, you just got to bring your best every day. And I mean, I'm so excited to play at one of the highest levels of college hockey. Like, it's going to be awesome. Um, yeah, I think it'll be great.
So we're now in a segment I like to call the non-hockey segment. Just ask you some non-hockey questions just to get to know you a little bit off the ice. My first non-hockey question to you is, what music do you like to listen to, whether it's before a game or just on a general basis?
On a general basis, I love country music, especially in the summer. I don't know, really good. But before a game, I have a superstition. I always listen to Good Feeling by Flo Rida. I don't know why. It gets me super pumped up, super excited to play. Other than that, before games, just like upbeat EDM kind of music just to get me pumped up.
Nice. Flo Rida is an underrated artist. I think some of his older songs are definitely good throwbacks, especially for
Right.
myself, like "Low" with T-Pain. That's a very, very good song to listen to for myself. I don't know if you like it or not.
Yeah, I don't know why that's just been a super like I've listened to that since I was like
Hmm.
15 before games, so I've just kind of stuck with it.
Hey, whatever works, works. That's my
Right.
mentality. So I totally agree with you on that. There's nothing wrong with doing that, in my opinion. Now, if there was a movie made about your life, who would you want to play yourself and why?
That's a hard question. I'd probably say Jennifer Aniston just because I love the show Friends. It's one of my favorite shows, and she's in a lot of movies I like. I think she's hilarious. So probably her.
I think for myself, I would probably choose Pete Davidson. I think he's a really
Oh yeah.
funny guy. Even though we look nothing alike, I think he would. We have the same sense of humor, so I think it would be funny to see him play me in a movie if that ever were to happen.
Yeah, he's hilarious. I love him.
Now, what is your biggest pet peeve?
I'd probably say sitting in stop and go traffic is probably one of mine. My teammates can vouch for me. I hate to drive, so that definitely is probably one of my biggest ones for sure.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that. My biggest pet peeve is something similar to that. It's bad drivers. I absolutely hate when you need to get somewhere quickly and someone just does not know how to drive. So that's very frustrating for myself, but I totally get the traffic part as well. But living in the East Coast, you always have to deal with traffic. So it's something that I'm kind of used to. So it doesn't really bother me as much as someone who might be a bad driver.
Well, that's good at least.
Now, being from Minnesota, you obviously have a lot of fun outdoor activities. So what is your favorite outdoor activity?
Yeah, I love in the summer playing golf. I've played since I was little. That's another big thing me and my family like to do. I actually played in high school too. So if I can get out there, I love to just be outdoors and play with my family and friends.
Now, what is your handicap?
Oh gosh, I am not that serious about it, so I don't know. I've only got out a couple times this year, but yeah, so I probably couldn't tell you.
More than me, I'll tell you what, I'm the worst putter of all time. It's something I can drive the ball very well. I can chip the ball very well, but my short game with the putting needs some work. It's so hard. There's like an art to it, like how hard you have to hit the golf ball, and then this how far the swing has to go as well. So maybe you can help me on that because it's something that really kills me when I play golf occasionally.
Yeah, I think putting is definitely a mental game. You just can't think too much about it. Just get up and hit the ball, that's for sure. But it is hard. I will agree with you on that.
Yeah, if no one's ever played golf before, it's like it looks like the easiest part of the game, but it's like the most difficult for me. So that's something that I need to work on. But I haven't played golf in a little bit. I need to get on that. I've been busy lately. I haven't had time to do it.
Yeah, no, it is good just to take time for yourself and be outdoors and
Mhm.
yeah, I love it.
Now, who's the funniest teammate you have at St. Thomas?
Oh, I have a lot of funny teammates. But I'd say my roommate Jenna Hartung is probably one of the funniest people on our team. That's for sure.
Now, you obviously have the best style on the team. That's undebatable. But besides
Thank
yourself,
you.
who has the best style on St. Thomas?
Oh, that's a tough one too. I'd have to go with Lucy Bianchi. She always is dressed head to toe pretty good, so probably her.
Now, final non-hockey question is if there was a meal you could have for the rest of your life, what would that meal be?
This is kind of a weird one, but I'm the biggest Jimmy John's fan. That is my pregame meal. I never get sick of it. I love Jimmy John's. So probably a Jimmy John's sandwich, as weird as it sounds.
Is that like a fast food restaurant or like a frozen food thing? I've never heard of that before.
Oh, it's just like a sandwich place. I guess I don't know if they have that out east, but yeah.
No, I've never heard of
Oh,
it.
yeah, it's just like sandwiches. That's pretty much it. It's not
Oh,
really a fast food, I guess, but they're
oh,
really good.
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, no, I'm definitely a big sandwich guy, so I totally can see that. Yeah, no, I've never heard of Jimmy John's before, so maybe
Oh, that's
if I ever
funny.
come down to the Minnesota, I have to try that.
Oh, yes, I definitely recommend it for sure.
Now, back to some hockey questions now. My first question to you is, what advice would you give younger players who are trying to make a D1 team or get that D1 college hockey scholarship?
Yeah, I think a big thing for me that especially came to light this season is just work hard because you love the game and playing hockey makes you happy. With all the COVID stuff that came up this season, I think I just found out how appreciative I am to have the opportunity to play the game I love. And I think that should be your main focus and not do it for other things like that.
Now, what advice, or I guess, what should be done to help grow women's hockey, in your opinion? Obviously, there's been some strides made in the past few years, but there's also been some tough news to see as well with the Robert Morris losing their women's hockey program for the foreseeable future. And then obviously with the Women's World Championships being canceled and then rescheduled in August.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I think there actually has been some great strides, but we still definitely need to work on some things. I think just being more aware and having more quality in the sport. Luckily, being in Minnesota, I got to play for some strong women's programs, but I know that some girls across the country don't have that opportunity. So I think just building those youth women's programs would be huge for the sport and just giving girls more opportunity to be able to play would be huge.
Now, do you have any shout outs you'd like to give to any of your family members, friends, teammates, former teammates before this interview ends?
Yeah, I just say shout out to my teammates, my coaches, and everyone that's supported me through my hockey career. I've just been so blessed. So shout out to you guys.
Now, one question that someone, which I found interesting, was you got to play the Chinese national team your freshman year. I have to ask you, well, what was it like to play against them? I thought that was really cool. I forgot to ask you that.
Yeah, it was an amazing experience and just kind of getting to talk to them after the game. It was super cool. And obviously I took that for granted knowing that I didn't know COVID was a thing back then. So we actually got to travel to Italy my freshman year in January. So we got to play their national team as well. So yeah, it's different styles of playing across the world. It's just cool to see that and, talk about their experiences is a lot different than a kid from Minnesota. So it was super cool for sure.
And how's the food in Italy? Obviously, there's some good Italian restaurants here in America, but I feel like it's probably a little bit different having Italian food in the place where it's actually from.
Yeah, I mean, I love pasta and bread and all that kind of stuff. So it was probably one of the best pizza pasta I've ever had in my life. It was a crazy experience for sure.
Now, what part of Italy did your team visit? Was it like Rome, Milan? Those are the only two cities I know of. So
Yeah, we visited all over. We were there for a little over a week. So we visited Milan, Rome, Florence, Como. I feel like I'm missing one, but
the one with
yeah.
the gondolas, Vienna.
Yeah, Venice. Yep.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we got to see a lot of Italy, which I'm really grateful for that opportunity. It's something I'll never forget for sure.
Yeah, no, Vienna is the capital of Austria, and Venice is the
Okay.
capital.
Yeah.
So
Sounds kind of the same though.
yeah, no, I messed that up so people can make fun of me about that. So I apologize. But thank you so much, Emma, for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate it. Take care, stay safe, and I can't wait to see you play for this upcoming season with St. Thomas. And I'm excited to see what your program does in the future. It's going to be exciting to see.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.